Okay, Sash wants a bottle.
Do you want the 3 count?
You bet.
Throw it to you? I'm not going to throw it.
Thank you. See, it's about that experience.
Break the other piece.
I was trying to get people riled up the other day when I was doing a workshop. And I was like, just so you guys know, I'm a professional juggler. You know, I've never juggled a thing in my life, but at least it got them entertained enough for a moment to pay attention. It's good. Yeah. Well, I had 3 in my hand at that time. I told them if they just worked, I would show them some of my skills. Okay, bottle.
So why are you getting the base wet?
Having a little bit of moisture on this masonite starts to allow it to suction better to this. Now, if I have too much water, it's going to create a little wet thing, right? It's going to create that slimy area that's usually on your hands, all over my hands, and then the thing won't stick. But just a little kind of primes the masonite. You can almost think about it like primer. Or does anyone spray paint here? Yeah. So you know how you have to put like a tack coat, they call it, when you're painting cars? You have to put a tack coat if you don't want the thing to run. But that if you just spray all over it, it's going to drip, and that's going to be nasty. What's up with that, right? I think it's the same thing here.
How important are the tools that you use?
Certain things, they're extremely important. I don't have my tools here, and I can't make the things that I make. And my tool is not much different from this. Well, this one, my tool that looks like this is much different than this. But everything else is fairly the same, but it's not mine. It hasn't gone through the struggle, if you will, of the last 8 years with me. And so some of it, there's that emotional thing where you sit down like one of Pavlov's dogs, and you know that you have this thing. The one thing you can count on is your tool. It's sitting right there. Other tools are just realistically so important. Like I need a very specific X-Acto knife to have it in my hand to make a confident stroke. Right? If I just had one of those X-Acto knives out of the box, I'm shaky with them. But I have this thing. It feels good in my hand. It feels royal. I can cut a straight line real quick. And I have a very specific one for that I did bring here. Tools are important. Does anyone screw things into the wall ever? Okay. You know the difference between a DeWalt impact gun and like any other gun out there, right? There's a big difference. You get your hands on that DeWalt, you are never screwing anything into the wall with anything else, I tell you. Right? It's like apples in a box of salt, you know?
I have one tool that I love dearly that they don't make anymore, and I never loan it to anyone. It's special.
You gotta keep that.
And I can't make anything without it.
What is
If
it?
it just sits on the table.
What is it?
So it's a small wood blade, but it's super sharp and fine.
Uh-huh. Yeah, don't ever let anyone touch that. That's nobody else's. Okay, bottle. So everyone, you should just skip your other classes and come here in the afternoon and I'll show you how to make handles and stuff.
So you're here all day?
I'm here all day.
All week.
I'm here all week, and I promise you, the 12:30 show is way different from the 8:30 show, right? But in all seriousness, tomorrow I start making molds. Or not making molds, but I start talking about molds, which is what I'm doing now. And I guarantee you the content from the morning to the afternoon will be different in those. So if you guys feel compelled to make it tomorrow and or Thursday afternoon too, that's when you'll get the most out of me about what I do. That's like the most, I think that that's the most thrilling because I'm fresh with it right now. That's my shameless plug for you to come. We're going to have a little time left over, right?
We might, yeah.
What time are we stopping?
We've got 15 minutes.
15? Okay, well, I'll do this, and then if we have time left over, can I have just a small 2-pound ball?
How old were you when you started getting into ceramics?
16.
Did you fall in love immediately?
Immediately. I didn't even know that I was taking the class. I was taking a painting class and I despised it because of the teacher. You know how it is. It was actually because of me. But at the time I thought the teacher was just so awful. How could she treat me this way, you know? And so I had to fulfill my art requirement in high school. And so I just went like this and pointed, and it said ceramics. And I go, okay, that sounds like jewelry, whatevs, right? Yeah, I wasn't, as I had said yesterday, I wasn't all that interested at that time in my educational success. So I was really interested in snowboarding, and I was just passing the time during the day in school. And the second I saw the wheel, my life changed dramatically. Had so much to do with the same sort of figure that snowboarding did, just in a different way. And I turned my grades around and went to college. It's kind of fun.
Do you still snowboard?
I was supposed to come out here a few years ago and do something, and the weekend before I was supposed to leave or something, I dislocated my elbow. I was hitting a big old jump, and it was right before I was going into grad school, and I was still acting like I was 16, but I was now 26, and my body just didn't recover the same way. It took 3 months for it to heal to the point where I could work. It was bad times. So I'm trying as hard as I can to not snowboard. Is the best I can put it. Because I guess I can't be an adult with it. I see something and I immediately like Sasha, at her mom's house, they have this big 15-foot ledge where you can jump into the pool. That's an opportunity, a golden opportunity. And the second I see it, I'm like, oh, I have to try as hard as I can to not do things that could actually hurt myself. But with snowboarding, wow, there's just no way I can stop myself. And for a while, I kind of could. Just doing something to it. Okay, the bottle. Notice that I did the vast majority of stylistic things downtown, and then I'm gonna come up here and start working. I'm thinning out my neck. See how tall it gets? Now we have one of two possibilities. We have one called choking or collaring, where I'm just choking the thing. It's a very simple idea. And I'm squeezing in. Now you'll notice right here, it was kind of bent in a strange way. Can you see that? That's not necessarily as constructive as using 6 points, thumb, first knuckle, middle finger, thumb, first knuckle, middle finger, to put pressure on an equal array of spots on this thing. Just squeeze it in. Why is the bottle so important, Sash?
Why is the bottle so important? To do in a demonstration or in life?
In these, at Palomar, right now.
It's just a skill.
Is it
to
in
bring
a
it back in?
Is it an assignment that you guys are going to work on?
No.
Well, why not?
She wants it for her house.
It's just a skill. It's a skill that everyone should be able to use. Are you going to do it in class? Well, no.
There will be bottles made. There will be bottles made, but to bring it back in takes a lot of control.
It does. Every time I squeeze it in, it thickens up some. So I have to pull it again. See how tall it can get? This really is a skill of the utmost importance. If you can do this, you can make anything. If you can make it go out and you can make it go in, you have the necessary components to make any form on the wheel possible.
Is it possible to pull it out too far so you can color it back in?
Yes. It is very possible. Now you clean off all the nasties. You can just keep making it smaller and smaller and smaller. In order, if you wanted to do the next step, use the back of your needle tool and you thin it out that way. But we're not doing that.
Your top looks uneven. Is that, is
With-
it, or is it my imagination, or is it not?
It is, but with these forms, when they're this delicate, it's almost impossible to make them even right now. You have to give it some time, let them stiffen up before you can coax that. Because just by doing this, I'm moving it. See that? I put it off center.
Couldn't you just trim it off?
No. This part is so delicate right there.
How would you trim the bottom of it?
You would find an awesome big cup cylinder thing, stick it, right? They call them chucks. Suppose I'll do that demonstration when this is ready to trim. Maybe this afternoon? Whenever my mom's disapproving of something, that's what she does.
That's our thing. Another noise.
I know. By the time I was 20, I would hear that noise and just immediately my stomach would drop. I gave her plenty of reasons to do that.
This is your 5-minute warning, Peter.
It always is. Suppose we'll call it quits there.
All right.
Thank you, guys.